Tonight I'm working on my computer station, and I've got my monitors right here. I've got the monitor stand. I just cut the countertop for it. This is a pre-finished, one side finished piece of 3/4 inch plywood. What I'm gonna do is, this is going to be my actual finish on top of it, but I want to have an 1.5 inch face frame just so that it looks more beefy. I'm going to space this up 1 inch, so I'm going to put 2 sheets of 1/2 inch plywood on this, and then a 3/4 inch will run the full length. I'm going to pocket hole screw it into that cabinet, and I'm even considering pocket screwing it into some studs, but I'll kind of decide that later. We'll see how much it sags in the middle. I think it will be okay because 3/4 inch, it's, pretty strong. We're gonna find out here pretty soon. And I put 4 pocket screws into here, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drop this on top, and then I'll truly level it once it's on there. Countertops are installed, and we're level both directions. So I brought out my 2-foot level to verify this direction, my 6-foot level in this direction. And as you can see, it's like a perfect height for standing, that I can look at my monitors, stand here and work, type, do everything. And then I'll also have a fairly tall bar stool to sit down at. What I've got to do next is figure out where my monitor is going to land. Previously I had mentioned that I was thinking about installing pocket screws into that adjacent wall, but I changed my mind and I cut this 2 inch by 3/4 inch piece of scrap plywood I had laying around, and I just installed that onto the studs and then butted it to the countertop to help eliminate some of the deflection from the weight of my computer monitors. And all I'm doing here is, figuring out where I need to be, because with those arms that pivot, I wanted to make sure my side screens were going to fit with my center monitor being centered without crashing into the wall, and I'll explain more here. The screens are up and installed on my monitor mount, and it looks pretty clean. I do wish that they were a little further in, but I'm literally maxed out on what I can do on those. But aesthetically, this is what looked best. I had to remove one of the arms. There's 3 arms that pivot behind here, or at least there was, but I removed this pivot because I couldn't get enough articulation without crashing into this center monitor. What I could have done was bring this center monitor out using my little bracket that I built for my corner desk. I really didn't want it to be this far out though, so what I might do in the future is cut this down and extend it, maybe half of this length, and then see how that works. But for now, I'm gonna leave that. My wiring is still a mess back here. And I also realized in the process of this, my Klish speakers have a VGA cord that I did not install in the wall. It really bums me out right now because I don't know what I'm gonna do yet. I gotta figure out a solution. But for now, I have my computer tower right there. I'm just hooked up to the docking station. I learned that this USB-C connector actually doesn't transmit power, so I can't use this as a docking option. So what I'll end up having to do is plug the laptop inside the cabinet. Not a big deal, not ideal, but it's gonna work. So 2 errors, I guess. 3. The reason that screen's not on, I don't know if I already mentioned this, but the reason that screen's not on is because the HDMI cables don't reach to this side of the screen. All of the HDMI cords are on this side. So that's error number 1. Error number 2 is my speakers. I did not install a VGA cord when I needed to. I don't know what I'm going to do with that yet. I totally forgot that it even had that hookup, and it's required for the subwoofer. And error number 3 is this USB-C docking station. It does not actually transfer power, and I need 130 watts in order to dock to my laptop. This is where I wish I had installed Smurf tube. from point A to point B so that I could re-pull things. I just didn't have it readily available, and I didn't really want to pay for it at the time. But I'm kicking myself in the butt right now for not ordering it, not installing it. Oh well, it's not a big deal. I'll figure out a solution and let you guys know. Moving on to the cabinetry lighting, it was really hard to document this work just because of the tight quarters, and you're just going to be looking at my butt the entire time, which is why I didn't film the install of my computer setup you'll see in there. All it was basically me bent over wiring things up, so I excluded that from the content. I got the first one wired up, and it's technically temporary, but grand reveal, I guess. So it looks pretty sick. I do have the diffuser on it already. It runs out right here, just a little tiny hole, and this switch turns it on and off. Very minor wiring you see there. Below, I'll try to zoom in on it. It's the hole for where it exits there, but when I put the diffuser down, you can't even see it. Inside the cabinet, it looks great. So you can see the strips there. My diffuser moved. But man, what a difference the diffuser makes. Let me show you how I temporarily wired it. I just used wire nuts. So right here is where this one comes out of. Hindsight, I wish I would have known or thought about it, I guess, is I wish I would have cut a dado right here for this wire to get like hot glued into, because I do plan to put toe kicks back here. So what I'll end up just doing is I'll hot glue it up, notch the toe kick, and then be done with it. It's okay. So the hole that comes out behind the diffuser is this wire here, and then did buy different connectors. This isn't how it's gonna stay. Turn my flash on for you guys. I just did it because I haven't got the connectors in the mail yet, but I ordered them. I've ordered the heat shrink and solder connections. This is the wire that goes to the actual power supply, and so I connected red, goes all the way through. As you can see, it's uncut right here. So the red is uncut, wires into the switch, and then the black comes back out of the switch, and all I did was cut the insulation and then cut the wire. So you can see right here on this one, this obviously goes back to the power supply, and then this black one gets wired up to the black, which is, or to the red, which is actually the positive on the light strip. So you can hardly see it now, and if I just hot glued it, or if I just glued it up or whatever, it would be perfectly fine, but I'm not happy with it. So my plan was to install toe kicks all the way around this entire thing, and I do plan to do that to the other side as well. I continue wiring up these lights and basically do the same temporary wiring with wire nuts, and you know, it just goes in with some sticky tape. The diffuser slides in, wire up the switches, some little goofy wiring down to the power supply, and soldering, which I didn't record, but I don't know, pretty simple stuff, I guess. Maybe I could have been more detailed. If you made it this far into the video, you get a little bit of a sneak peek behind me because I wanted to show you guys the lights in action. So that's it. I opened the door and the lights turn on. So I think it's pretty cool. Something I did forget to mention was that my power supply, if you come this way a little bit, my power supply is not powerful enough, doesn't have enough wattage to supply the entire light strip. So when both doors are open, they do flash right now, but I do plan on upgrading the power supply. And for now, I just open one door at a time and the other one remains on. So yeah, these are going to be my doors, soft closing hinges. So if you want to check out episode 4, come back next week. And coming up to the top, I did add the shock assist. So I think that's a nice feature for overhead storage, because otherwise, how does the door stay up? And then moving on over to here, this is kind of my technology cabinet. My computer setup, I got my subwoofer for my Klish speakers. And I do plan to put a 3D printer in here in the future. So yeah, these have separate power supplies, so that's why these two don't flicker when they're both on. If you want to stay up to date on the garage build, come back next week for episode number 4.